Hello everyone and welcome to another episode from me, it's Crafted Genius, and today I'm bringing you a brand new series to the channel which is a deep dive into some Fortnite gameplay. Now, before we begin, of course, you can see that we are at the end of a match where there's 8 people left with 3 teams remaining. Unfortunately, the gameplay and the live audio didn't record, so I've had to go into the Fortnite replay mode to be able to see all this, but what I want to be doing is basically diving into some of the most intense gameplay that I've ever experienced in any game that I've ever played, and just analysing it, see where people went right, see where people went wrong, and yeah, we'll just enjoy the show. So we're going to be flipping between different people's perspectives as you just watch this gameplay here and just understand, like, you know, how to improve your game. That's the whole objective of this series. So you can see there's 3 teams left. There's 8 people as well. The circle has been relatively kind to us here, and we are playing trios, by the way. So there are 3 teams left at the moment. We have 3 alive, and there's a team with 3 and a team with 2. So I'm just going to let the gameplay really play out first of all, and we're going to be flipping between different people's perspectives, seeing how this all ended out as it does, because I can tell you it's you can tell I was really excited by this gameplay here. So I'm rocking the Black Knight skin. It's something that I want to be trying to use more and more often. It's because I was there for that first season of Fortnite and I picked it up, and I'm really excited that I've got that skin, so I like to use it as often as I can. It's really unfortunate the gameplay didn't actually record while after the game. Normally it does. I have no idea why it didn't, but some of my reactions and voiceover work while I was talking to my teammates, and even things like being able to see what inventory I've got, it's really disappointing to see that the Fortnite replay system is a bit basic and very stripped back of what it could be, especially after all this time that Fortnite has had to really grow into something new. So I have to admit that I'm a little disappointed that you can't see my inventory, other people's inventory, how many materials I have, and things like that. So as we're just coming through here, you can see that we have one of our players down. I'm just trying to build up into the circle, aware that we have one more team to go, and it's a 2v3 situation. So our teammate has died at this point. I'm just trying to stay alive. What I could have done there is hit him with a headshot, but he was obviously trying to shoot my friend, so I was very conscious that I just needed to get a hit off just to keep my friend alive. I could see that his health was relatively low, and speaking of his health, he has now been knocked out by the enemy team. So I'm a little bit stranded here with a 1v3 situation, and I thought, you know what, just go for it, charge, use my impulse grenades to fly myself over to the other team, and you can tell they were completely thrown off by that as I knock out one of their players. So mats wise, I'm quite healthy. Gun wise, I only had that one rocket ammo for my rocket launcher, and basically what I'm trying to do here is give myself a bit of an advantage and work my way around this enemy team. So I'm just 2v1ing, trying to work my way around this team. I'm on 100 health, only 4 shield. I'm very conscious that whenever I do shoot and give myself away, they're going to be trying to get to me, and it's very easy for a team like this to take me out. But here I am, I've taken out another player here. So here I'm just basically building my way around this player, not letting him get to me. Oh, it's so close, so tight. I'm on 37 health, we've both been exchanging blows, and at this point I can hear him heal. So my thought process is here is to use an impulse grenade, fly myself up and kill him. However, it throws me into the storm, I take a bit of damage, and then I get that victory royale. So going from a 1v3 situation in the final circle to a victory royale, and I was absolutely buzzing, as you could probably tell if anyone of you know me, just because of how I stood plain still at the end there. Normally I'll be doing all sorts of emotes. So I'm just going to be flicking between different people's perspectives here just to see how that really did all play out and how on earth that happened, because a lot happened in that clip. So we're just following the guy at the top because this guy had a very good advantage, but you can see that he's using this strange loadout where he's flipping from pistol to shotgun, trying to take out anyone. He's using some weird tactic to try and kill pretty much our team and push us. I do have to say that we did have 2 bots. I did hire 2 of those bots, and that really did help distract and help me get that kill off of him. So he was a really good player to get, especially as he had a gold scar. Now, flicking to that other team just there, you can see that they're just holding back. Now, this isn't something that is particularly bad in any way, but I would have said that if they were to push, they probably would have killed us because we're all weak. They should know that we've just been in a massive fight. They just watched all that unfold. But of course, they're in the circle and they're thinking, oh, well, they have to come to us. But they're not really making the most of this. So in this replay mode here, I'm just having a look to see whether you can see what level these players are, because it'd be very interesting to know what level they are, because they should really have pushed at this point, and knowing the difference between when to push and when to hold off is very important in this game. And they're just holding off. They're all crouched, and this is something that I find really strange with the players that I play with. My friends do this as well. I think it's a console thing. So when you're playing Fortnite, you don't need to crouch. Crouching doesn't really add much to the game. And just watching this peaceful world here, look at how many times he shoots different pieces of material. He's not focusing his gunshots on one specific material when he's firing against me, so I could easily hold him off just by building. He switches his attention to my friend here, the Scuba Steve, and he's just trying to get him out of there. And with one hit, Scuba Steve is dead. And that leaves me with a 1v3 situation. So he obviously shakes him down. They all can see where I am. And this is where it gets really strange, because I didn't actually realise that they shook him down, meaning that they should all be able to see where I've gone. But they really don't make the most of this by just doing some weird things where they're using... they don't really know how to attack me here. You can see as I flick between different players, there's no cohesion, there's no shots, there's no unity. The friend that's been downed hasn't been revived. They're using the pickaxe to try and get to me, and it kind of works, but it doesn't really, because he has to switch to his gun, and then I just deny him with that build. And I'm just completely controlling the gunfight here, especially as you watch Peaceful World and this Keno Bold guy. They just constantly use their shotguns. Now, shotguns aren't the best weapon to attack materials with. And as they start to realise this and switch to an SMG, they're shooting the wrong pieces. Now, I've taken out the guy that was using the SMG, and now it's just a 1v1 situation. And straight away, you can see how I'm completely controlling this fight. He's trying to run up the stairs that I've been building. He's trying to make the most of the gaps that I've been leaving in my builds. And when you get players like this, you know that they're up for exploitation. So he starts to realise this and goes for the heals. I can obviously hear this, and this is one of my biggest tips, is to wear a headset so you can hear small cues like that. If he would have stayed in that storm for a split second longer, he would have died, because the storm was ticking for 10 and he was only on, I think, 8 health. So that was a very interesting play. Now, in this part of the gameplay, we're going to be viewing the point of view from Scuba Steve, and I just want to focus on him specifically, one, because he's my brother, and two, because he has some interesting questionable decisions here. Now, making that first shot when not being able to see and guarantee a hit, that completely screwed us up, because they didn't know we were here, and he should have seen that I had a sniper, and unless he was guaranteed a hit, he should have only shot then. And you can sometimes see when he stops still for a second, those crosshairs tighten up. That's when you take those shots. You don't take them like that. Now, we know there's someone above with a rocket launcher, but instead of going up and trying to challenge him, he just hides under a piece of stair. Now, this isn't a very good tactic to use, because the player is above. He's used a rocket launcher, so he could have more ammo. He gets quite lucky here that the player here didn't just rush him. and then he gets a very questionable damage there to finish the player off. Still using the shotgun, which is a very questionable thing. It's something you can only recognise when going into that replay mode and checking how other people played. Now, as he's playing here, you can see that he is experiencing quite a bit of lag, and obviously that doesn't help, and that obviously throws him off in his decisions as well. But what I would have done in his shoes is, where that building is and that AI player just was, I would have rushed up there and tried to take out that player that had that rocket launcher rather than hide under some stairs, because it's always an advantage to have the higher ground. Now, in the time that he was building and lagging around, he could have revived a friend, but instead he's having to pick him up here, and it's a very desperate time because of the circle. Obviously the other team are waiting for us over there, so there's nothing that can really be said for the revive here. He was on only 3 at this point, and then he was taking shots, and there we go, straight out of the game. There goes Paul 6532. Now at this point I just want to highlight that Steve is now on 170 health. Okay, he's getting shot at, and it's a stressful time. Now, what's his mistake here? I want to say using the wrong building part, because he's using those walls. He's completely locking himself out from being able to make a push, and he's completely locking himself out in the storm as well, because the number of times he's taking ticks in the storm. He's gone from 170 health down to 28, and there we go. There goes Steve out of the game. So what I would have done in that situation is flick between different building pieces, use stairs, and in the case where people are shooting those stairs, use too wide. Okay, so now we're going to a drone view of this gameplay, and just to see how this all panned out. So the rocket launcher that I shot, that could have been a lot better. I could have tried to get some damage off. Really, it only just destroyed their buildings. Now at this point Steve's just been knocked out. There we go, so Steve's gone, and this is my YOLO moment, and it's quite a lucky shot because I didn't realise there was a guy behind me, and I was quite reliant on that shotgun to take the guy out that wasn't at full health. Now as we just ponder over what's going on here, I don't really understand what this team is doing, and that's why I find it really interesting to see what level these players are on, because I'm building, I'm doing all sorts, and they're just wandering around. They're trying to break in, not really working. I'm putting off shots, hitting them, taking down their shields, taking their damage, and all this time there's a friend of theirs at the bottom who's not doing anything. And the more players you have, the better, of course. So at this point, this is really, again, highlighting that they're shooting the wrong building pieces. They're using shotguns to try and destroy the wood. But at this point, my heart was absolutely racing. I've never had quite an experience like this before. And you can see, he's trying to run up the stairs that I'm building. And when I'm controlling the fight like that, I'm complete control. I'm going to make you come around to the places that I want you to come to so I can hit you with the damage. So at this point, he's been taking all those hits. I just wanted to check whether he had his back covered off there, and he does, thankfully. I used the impulse, which took me out of the storm, which was a complete mistake. But then he goes for the revive, which is a questionable decision there, because that was never going to happen. So the priorities for that player there were all over the place. The team's priorities were all over the place, and that gave me the victory royale. I hope you enjoyed this episode, guys. It was a really enjoyable one to do. Next time, I hope that it does record properly and we don't have to rely on the replay mode here. But anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like, and I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye.